created Accounting Power, people ask us, there are so many solutions available for accounting. And the reason is there were a lot of incidences that happened, and there were a lot of things that happened quite a while back. And that really motivated us to create this Accounting Power software. To give you one particular instance, I was at a trade show and I had known a CPA. He walked into our booth and I just casually asked him, "How's your accounting practice?" And he told me, "Chandra, you won't believe it, but I don't run my own accounting practice." And I was shocked. I said, "What do you mean? You don't run your accounting practice? Then who does?" And he pointed to one of the major providers of accounting software. And he said, "That company and my clients run my practice." Clients go and buy QuickBooks from Intuit. Most of my clients don't know anything about accounting and they make a mess. And before I can do anything, I have to clean up that mess. I'm spending awful lot of my precious time cleaning up that mess. And I don't get any time to do what it really became a CPA for. I want you to help my clients manage their cash flow, run their businesses efficiently, and I just can't do any of that. And there were a lot of instances like that. And then we talked to hundreds of accountants and we found everybody had some concerns and echoed the same sentiments. Some were frustrated that the companies that are selling the solution to them are also competing with them. Accountants felt that the fact that the solutions that are created for end users are promoted and they really diminished their relevance. So, and they felt that's one of the reasons accounting has become commodity service. By then, we have a pretty good experience with the cloud, and we started thinking, is there any way we can use the cloud to help accountants overcome all these challenges? And sure, we found that yes, cloud can make it possible for accountants to take back the control of accounting. So that's what we created Accounting Power, just to help you regain control of accounting. We want you to really make accounting a lot more profitable and really add value to your client's business. And that's why we created Accounting Power, and you will see how we accomplish this. Now the question is, where do you see yourself? You all know that within maybe a very short period of time, you would have to move to the cloud. Do you still want to be running your practice the same way you are running right now? Would you still want where clients go and make bookkeeping messes and you are unable to do anything about it? You still will be using be a secondary channel for accounting. Would you want a piece of software to be controlling your accounting? Or you want this as a major opportunity to take advantage of the power of the cloud and regain control of accounting? Do you see yourself where you can go to your clients and say, you know what, now I can offer you the kind of services I couldn't offer you before? Would you want to take the control of accounting so clients can't make any mistakes? Do you picture yourself getting there? And if that's where you want to be, then you will find this webinar to be pretty useful. Now, what will gain from this webinar? One of the major limitations of the software that is currently available is that it is one size fits all. But what we are going to show you that today, with the right cloud software, you can customize your accounting practice to best meet each client's need. And in fact, we'll show you how you have probably different clients with different needs. We'll show you how you can most effectively meet every client's need. Most importantly, if you go out and ask your clients today, hey, do you really love doing accounting? And they will laugh at you. How many of your clients really even want to do accounting? And I'm pretty sure, given a choice, a good percentage, if not majority of your clients will say, okay, I don't want to do anything with accounting, take it over. And what is possible today is that you can really take over all accounting work from your clients, relieve them of any accounting headache, and you can do accounting for your clients faster, easier, and more efficiently, and you can do more professional work, and your staff can do it sitting right in your office. So you will be able to have those kind of capabilities with the cloud. So we'll show you how you can do that. You'll become a better advisor. You will have the tools to basically monitor fiscal health of your clients. You'll be able to manage their cash flow. You'll be able to see how, if any important business driver is outside the bound where it should be. And you'll be able to give them advice on how to manage their businesses more efficiently. And of course, when you do all this and you add new services, your practice is going to become more profitable. And with the efficiency that you are going to gain, you will be able to make your practice more profitable, add a lot to your bottom line without adding any client or staff. And most importantly, you will really feel the proud. You will feel the pride of being an accountant because you will be able to give your clients the services you could never do. You will really be able to do why you became an accountant and your client. And when you see how your clients appreciate what you're doing for them, it's going to be a really a matter of great satisfaction for you. Now, regardless of the challenges that the current solution has done, the do-it-yourself model created by QuickBooks is the most important, was the most important, I would say, breakthrough in accounting in centuries. Since Pacioli invented accounting, there was nothing major that happened, but Intuit with QuickBooks changed everything. And it gave a method of doing accounting much faster, easier than the method it replaced. That was by doing it manually. So that was a major breakthrough and really completely transformed accounting. But what happened is at the same time it created many challenges for accountants that we just reviewed. So the question is, why did that happen? And I think the part of the reason was that there were some unrealistic expectations from the creators of the original software. These creators thought that they can really create a software that can make accounting painless for small businesses. Small businesses will be able to do everything on their own, and that's why they created a model where the software is at the center of client accounting, and accountants and this is accountants are basically at the periphery. So client in accounting software is controlling the accounting process, and you are sitting at the sideline waiting for the output that the client create to come to you. And you have no proactive role in this model. And this is the DIY model, do-it-yourself model. These are the solutions that were created for small businesses to do accounting themselves. But now you were forced to use those systems. And that's part of the problem. So now the solution is, you must be wondering what the solution is. And the solution lies in realizing and understanding the reality. And the reality is that no software can ever make accounting painless for your clients or small businesses. Only you, the professional accountant, can. And all you need are the right tools, right professional tools. And we understood this reality, and that's why we created our software around that reality. So what have we done? We put accounting back on its feet and put you, the accountant, at the center of accounting. So the solution we sell is exclusively sold to you. And what it does is gives you the ability that you never had before in the past. It lets you work collaboratively with your clients, and you remain in full command. And now you can do a lot of things you could not do in the past. So you must be wondering, how do we make it possible? And we make it possible by creating a fully wholesome, integrated system that includes everything that pertains to accounting. So it will have all the components of general ledger systems like QuickBooks. It has banking, sales, expenses, job costing, inventory, whatever the DIY solutions have, any general ledger solution has. But it also has the tools and functionality that you need for your professional work, which is after the fact write-up, trial balance work, very comprehensive financial statement, tools for creating financial statements, customizing them. There are some other tools that help you manage your clients' fiscal health. So those are through alerts and many other things, and client management tools that you would not find in typical software. And look at the overlap. And what it does is that we are working with one database. Everybody is working on one system. So what happens is you actually give access to your clients, and we will show you how you can customize the system for each client. And then client log into your system, maybe via your website, do whatever you want them to do. And then you or your staff logs in, data is at the same place, it's everything in the cloud, and then you do your professional work. And this fully integrated system, unified system, makes all this possible. Now, one of the most important aspect of this is that now you will be able to customize your system or your service, actually your accounting service for each client. Each client, and you know there are clients with maybe 4 or 5 different category of clients. There are some clients who don't want the accounting hassle at all, given a choice. What they are doing right now is because they had no other option. So you will be able to take over all accounting work for those clients and do that accounting work faster and easier than you were able to do ever before. And your staff will be able to do all bookkeeping, all accounting, all data entry, all transaction entry, sitting right in your office. You never have to travel to client location. And that makes this complete accounting services highly profitable service for you. There are clients who will say, hey, I want to do some work. Or they have a staff that they want to keep, and they say, hey, I still want to get involved. In that case, you will be able to customize the system for each client, and you will see how that is done. So suppose you have a plumber who doesn't know anything about accounting. When he logs into the system, all he's going to see is a screen for writing checks and another screen for entering cash receipts. That's all he sees. A client has a bookkeeper, then she will be able to see screen for accounts receivable, accounts payable, and maybe bank rec. But you can keep her off limit from charts of account. So those you count with those clients also. There are clients who just can't move away from writing manual checks. They will continue to write checks manually, and we'll show you how you can do after the fact write-up work faster than before, minimizing your data entry to bare minimum. And you can make your write-up work pretty a lot more profitable. And there are always some clients who need an industry-specific software, and you'll be able to accommodate them. They will just, you'll take their trial balance work and do your trial balance work using our professional accounting system. So this is how we are going to be demonstrating how you can do that. Now you said that we call our system DDIY. And what does DDIY stand for? And DDIY stand for that now you can go to your clients and tell them, don't decide it yourself, DDIY. Let's work together to make accounting painless for you and let our firm give you the valuable advice you need to manage your cash flow and business finances. You can just go them and say, hey, let's work together and we'll make accounting as painless as you want, and we'll be able to offer you the advice you couldn't do, we couldn't offer you before. And that is our new DDIY model. So with this introduction, I'm going to hand over uh, the presentation to David Manel, and he's going to show you the demonstration of the complete system. And make presenter, change presenter, and David Manel. Okay, David, did you get?
I believe you should now be seeing my screen.
Yes, I do see your screen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Bhansali. Excellent. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take you through the program. I'm going to show you how we can do the different things that Dr. Bhansali was mentioning, how you can take care of clients who want no accounting hassle, clients who want to actually do part of their work, clients who insist on writing some manual checks, and I just want to show you our program in general. I like to show the program, so hopefully this will be enjoyable for you and for me. Okay, so the first thing I want to go to is I just want to show you that it's a very powerful program. Like if I come down to firm, you see that we have options for consolidations. You can take several companies and consolidate them into one company in order to do the financials. You can make consolidating entries and things of that nature there. Also, we have job costing. We have departments. We have some inventory management involved in the system. That's just to give you an idea that it really is a very comprehensive package. So the first thing I want to show you now is for the people who insist on doing manual checks themselves. So the way that you do it is typically you go into write-up entry, and we have a pretty good heads-down system for doing write-up work. You might be having a bank statement, or you might have a checkbook, or whatever you're going from. You enter the date, you select the payee. Based upon who the payee is, it'll automatically come up with the expense account as long as you already have it set up. Reference number will advance. In this case, it's a client that I had set up for departments, so you could set up departments. And pretty much you can just do it heads down, one row after the other. I'm not really going to take any time actually showing you how to do the write-up. That isn't really the point here. This is more of an overview. But just remember that for regular, straight, traditional write-up, it's pretty easy. You can do heads-down entry. We take care of a lot of little things for you, such as the advancing of accounts, a reference number, selecting expense accounts, etc. for you. But really, there's a much better way to do write-up work like this, and that is with the feature that we have that's called bank feeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Company, Banks, and Credit Cards. And the first thing you have to do with bank feeds, and bank feeds are a way for the system to go out when you select it to go out and get all of the transactions from your customers' banks. But in order to do that, first, the customer has to give you the authority or the authorization to do it. So what you do is you would go to this bank feed screen. You come up, you have a spot where it's the bank feed sign up. You either send a registration letter to your clients, and when you do, the client has a little link that they click on, and that link takes them to a screen, which I'll kind of show you briefly here. And from that screen, they register with the bank. So in my case, since I'm not really doing it from a letter, I'm the person who's here, I'm going to do the other method. That would be where the accountant would actually go to the bank and register. Usually that would be done when you and your client are together and you take them to the screen. So what happens is you go to a screen, you just select which bank you want to add. There's thousands of banks that are there and available. So in my case, maybe I would select Capital One. And from here, for all of your clients, it's going to be just like they're logging into their bank. It's going to ask for their ID, their password. Maybe it might ask for verification questions. What was their first pet or whatever it might be. But the idea is they come in here, they register for it, and once they're registered, then you're set up to do the importing for them. So I'm just going to close this out without really doing anything there. The next thing, after they're registered, the banks have to be matched up to the particular bank account that you have set up in the system. And the way we do it, if you already have a bank account set up in the system and you entered the whole bank account number, we'll match it so it'll automatically go according to the last 4 digits of their actual bank with what was entered in the system. A couple other nice things on this screen. This is where you map out the different accounts. It tells you how many transactions you've imported and when the last time you did an import was. And if there's any that aren't linked, you could come in here and you would select which account to link it to. Okay, so after you would set up the system in order for giving you the rights to do it, the next thing you would do is you want to go to banking, e-bank credit card statements. Now, we've always had a feature like this in the system, but what used to happen was the customer would have to go out and go to the bank themselves and either get an OFX file or an Excel format file, and there may still be some clients who want to do it that way, and we still will accept those ways to do it. So typically what you would do is, I would say, maybe every month if you're really doing write-up work. It used to be that write-up work would be some clients you would do every month. I don't know. Some clients people do quarterly, and a lot of clients, accountants, do all of the write-up work at the end of the year, right in the middle of tax season. Causes a lot of extra stress. That's a very busy time anyway. And there's a couple of downfalls to that. Number one, it's so busy, so stressful at that time. You're doing the write-up work there. Secondly, when you're getting all that information at the end of the year for a write-up client, you can't really give them good real-time information. With the bank feeds, once they're set up and working right, you can easily do it each month and be right on top of things with your clients. You know how they're going, are their sales doing better, are their expenses going according to what they were prior years. It really gives you a lot of advantages. So what I'm going to do here, I could go out, I have this set up with some of my banks, but I'm going to go up and I'm going to set up an e-bank import, so you don't really have to see my personal bank account with all my trips to the 7-Eleven or whatever were on it. You enter the date that you'd be importing, and if it was a bank feed, you would just click on bank feed. In my case, I'm actually doing it from a file. And once it's there, you just click on import. It'll import the statement for you. Now, from here on out, it's exactly the same as if I had done it using the real bank feeds. What will happen is it'll go out, it gets all the transactions, it looks at all the transactions, it looks to see if they match with any existing transactions. We have a very powerful algorithm that matches it up with existing vendors that you have. And if there were exceptions, it would let you know. So in this case, I had 18 new transactions. all I would do, I would then click on View Transactions. And what this does, it takes me right to that same write-up entry screen that I was at before. And basically all you would do when you're here is you verify, like there was one here who was a new vendor, so I would have to set him up. But the others, they all automatically come across with the right account information. As an accountant, to do a little bit of your proper due diligence, you come in here, you see the totals that are there, how many transactions. You have good hashtags to work with. And these hashtags also, I'll just mention, when you're doing heads down write-up work, this is very good, because when after you've entered 50 transactions or something, you see the total that you entered, and you see how many you entered, and then you can compare it to what the actual numbers should be, either on the bank statement or whatever you're coming from. And I know I say this every time, but you don't hear me, but when I do write-up work, or when I did write-up work, I could never enter 50, 60 transactions and have them all entered correctly. So what this can do is it really saves you a lot of time and can save you a lot of money. So the advantages of using these bank feeds are, number one, it dramatically reduces data entry time. Now I know, of course, I'm maybe a little slower than some, and some bookkeepers are amazingly fast at how fast they can enter write-up, after-the-fact write-up transactions. But no matter how fast they are, if you have 100, 200 transactions that you're importing, it's always much quicker this way. It drastically reduces errors, because everything's going to come across exactly as it is in the bank statement. It saves you that time and aggravation of getting data from your clients. Sometimes you just have to keep on chasing after some clients to get you their information in order to do the write-up. Now you just go out each month or whenever you choose to do it, and you get the information. And as I mentioned before, but I'll just gloss over it this time, this makes it real easy to give real-time advice to your clients instead of them waiting until come tax season in order to get the information. So that's pretty much what is done with the bank feeds. The next thing I want to show you that can help you with the client write-up also is we have something under write-up called templates. Now you may have something that every period you have to do for a client on write-up. In this case, I have one set up because I'm importing payroll transactions or payroll checks that are coming across, but I want to allocate them to the different departments. So what you can do is you can set up a template. You can set up either with the numbers already in it, or you can set it up with just the entries there. And then you can come in every month or whatever time period you need to do it. You just verify the entries. If numbers need to be changed, you can change them. And then you can post them to the appropriate journal. Now this one I have going to the general journal, but it can also go to all the other journals. So this can be a real time saver. Another good spot is when you have clients who have a Z-tape they go from. Maybe at the end of the month they say this, or the end of each week, this is my Z-tape from the register, and you can see how much different types of transactions were the different sales. And then they can be coded right in here. Nothing gets forgotten, and that way it's correct. So pretty much that's it for regular for regular write-up work. Once you get the information into the system, the next step usually is to do some sort of trial balance review work. So we have a lot of different methods that you can use for trial balance review. A lot of different offices, people like to work different ways. What might be best for me isn't necessarily best for you, and vice versa. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that people can use the system in order to drill down and to verify and review their entries. One thing is you go to the trial balance review screen, which is what I have set up here. And you can go in and you can review certain transactions. So maybe right now I want to review professional fees. Now you notice over here under tick marks, I already have other things marked as analyzed. So you can have one person who's coming in doing the review work, they can mark everything done, so then when the partner or the overseer comes in for that particular client, they can already see what has been done there. So in this case, I want to review professional fees. All you do is on any screen, you click wherever it's blue, and that allows you to drill down. Now this screen now shows me all the different transactions that were made for that particular account in that particular period. So I see that there was one cash disbursements entry, a couple of purchase journal entries. But maybe I'm looking at this when I'm reviewing it and I'm thinking all of it should have been coded to a different department. None of it should have been to the Rocky Mountain department. So what you can do, you can then click and go all the way through to the original transaction. So I could change this here if I wanted to put them all under the Sierra Nevada department. Or maybe if when I was reviewing I saw the amount was wrong or something, I could make whatever adjustments I would want to make right here. In this case, since it's a sample client I'm using, I'm not really going to make the adjustment, but it would automatically flow through and it would go directly back to the trial balance for you. Another feature we have in the trial balance, and a few, is we give you the ability to customize what you want to be seeing on this screen. So in my case, I kind of like working with transactions and adjustments. And personally, I don't really use a tick mark too much, but a lot of people do, so I put it there to show how it could be used. Some accountants want to see debits and credits all in one column. That way they can see more columns on the screen. So you can customize this to look however you would want it. I'm kind of old-fashioned as an accountant. I always want to see both columns. So that's how you would use just the regular trial balance review screen in order to be doing your work there. Another option is to go to the View Financials. So from the View Financials, you can do what we're doing now. It's just looking at a particular period. You also have the ability to compare each period year to date, or maybe you want to do a review on a certain period, like see how sales went from and expenses from Thanksgiving to Christmas or something, and then you would enter a date range. So anyway, you go into View. Once again, I'm going to be looking at the same account, professional fees, and you click. It takes you into the screen, and once again, if I wanted to make a change, it's really pretty much the same. I could then drill down and make any corrections I would want from that screen. It's pretty easy, pretty fast, and pretty powerful. One final method that I want to show you for reviewing work is review journals. I find that sometimes accountants like this better. And the reason is because it shows both the debits and the credits. So if I wanted to see that particular transaction, which was Johnson & Jones CPAs, I actually see where the debits went, where the credits went, and once again, you could still drill down to the information. Now, of course, we also have, although I'm not really going to go into it, but we have general journals, we have adjusting journals, we have recurring journal entries that you can enter, and we also have reversing journal entries that you can enter. So each time when you close a period, it would be automatically done. But that's not really the scope here. We don't really have time to go into that type of detail. The next thing I want to go and show you is our financials. Because usually once you're done with financial work, with your trial balance work, is you would do the financial statements. Although I did miss one thing I wanted to show quickly. For the clients who have to have another system that Dr. B had mentioned. So sometimes somebody needs, maybe they need specific construction software. Sometimes I had a client who he had to use the government insisted software because of they were doing the work with a government contract on road landscaping. So anyway, there's many different reasons why somebody may have to use a different software. And if they do, it's very simple to get the information into Accounting Power. All you do is you go into the trial balance entry screen, you select the period, and then you can either import or enter the information directly there. But I'm not going to really go too much more into that. So anyway, now into the financial statements. First of all, Accounting Power has very powerful, straight out of the box financial statements. They're professional looking, especially if you use our predetermined codes that we have. We have some predetermined company setups for different industries. There we already have groupings and things like that set up for you. But right out of the box, it's pretty powerful. And you can, in one set, you can print a complete group of documents. You can print a balance sheet, an income statement. You might want to have a cash flow statement. You might want a cover sheet, a table of contents, the accountant's report, and you might want some footnotes. And in my case, I'm going to say I want year to date. And all you would do is you just come in and you go ahead and print it. And while it's printing, I just want you to notice right here, I have under grouping, I have where it says custom, and I have format list accounts, because that'll show, I'll show you something on that in just a minute. But anyway, there you have the cover sheet. Here you have the letter. We have about 70 different letters included in the system. The various letters for compilation, review, even for audits. They're always kept up to date with the latest pronouncements. So you'll notice when we come down here, maybe into the income statement, that I'm showing, since I said list, so here I'm showing the sales of widgets, sales of gadgets, sales of miscellaneous items, all separately. Same thing down here under insurance. It's broken out separately. And just to go on through the financials, there's the cash flow. And if I had footnotes on this client, they would be there. So that's kind of the idea, that right out of the box, it's pretty powerful. But we have preferences that without even really doing much special formatting, you can change a lot in how you want it to appear. Like in my case here, I have set up to show the percent of sales. Maybe if I don't want the percent of sales, I would remove that. Maybe you want the multiple column instead of the single column, like what I have. That's this one here, separate columns for totals. So just with clicking a few boxes, you can change the look of the statement. So with hardly any extra work there. You can change the class descriptions. Instead of saying operating revenue, maybe you want it to say income or sales or whatever headings you might want there. You also have the ability to come into fonts and change it a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go into custom formatting, but we have custom formatting where you can set up the way you want different groups to be handled. So you notice earlier, when I was in here, I had custom selected and the format as list accounts. Once you have it set up, which doesn't take a lot of work, I mean, it's a little bit, but doesn't take too much work, just at the click of the mouse changing it, I can now print out the financial statements. And if I go down to the income statement, we'll see that sales is now combined completely. Insurance is now combined. Commissions was combined. Wages and salaries were all combined. The idea there is once you get it set up, it's very easy to change it. And you do know as accountants, maybe your client wants to see his sales broken down into the different departments, which is good for management purposes. But if he's giving out a statement to someone, he doesn't want, the bank may not want to see that. They just maybe want to see total cash and total sales, things like that. Okay, so pretty much that's what I want to show, or what I have time to show. I always want to show a lot more because we have a lot more. So now I'm going to go to another field instead of the financials. These are going to be the tools that allow you to provide your client with advice. The first one I want to show you is alerts. You can go into alerts, and on each client you can set up a group of alerts for when you want to be notified that there's something wrong on that client. So maybe this particular client, anytime they write a check more than $20,000, that's out of the ordinary, and you as the accountant would want to know. So if a check was written for $40,000, maybe you'd call them up and say, well, exactly what was this for? Of course, 99% of the time it's always legitimate, but this gives your clients the confidence and the assurance that you're really on top of their information. Same thing with cash accounts. You can set up when you want to be notified that the cash account is below a different limit. Some accounts, they never have $200,000. Maybe you only are concerned if they're below 1,000. Other accounts, other clients, maybe they're large numbers, like I had set up for this one. And I'm not going to go into all of them, but you can be notified when the current ratio is outside of a range, the gross profit ratio, working capital falls outside. Anyway, you can set up a lot of different alerts that can keep you right on top of your client's information. So the next step, though, is how do you really see all this information, especially as a managing partner. And what I did, I went into the screen which is called the Client Snapshot. Now the Client Snapshot is the screen where the accountant will be able to see all of his clients at a glance with a little bit of information about each client. So in this case, I can see what the cash balances are, the total accounts receivables, and you notice that some of them are in red, and that's because on this particular client I had set up that I want to be alerted if accounts receivable is above a certain amount, or maybe if there's anything in the suspense account, or like I had shown you with the checks, that once a check is written above a certain amount, you want to be notified. And there's a lot of other powerful things you can see here. If you have a client who's doing his own work, you can see when the last time they logged in. In this case, it was back in April 20th. If you have a bunch of staff that are doing write-up work on clients, just at a glance, you can come in under current period and you can see what stage each of your clients are at. And any of these headings, you can click on them and then sort by them. So this snapshot allows you to see, as I said, a little bit of information about all of your clients at a glance, and it gives you good, quick warnings if something is out of range. The next thing I want to show you, though, is the dashboard. The dashboard is like the complement to the snapshot. The dashboard shows a lot more information about a particular client. So I'm in widget manufacturing, so I see a lot of information about widget manufacturing. I can come in here, we have different graphs. I can see how income versus expenses are going. This client seems to be doing pretty good. You can set up budgeting. I'm not going to really go into budgeting, but you can set up budgeting, and now you can come in and see, well, how is the actual doing against the budget for income and for expenses. You get a nice profit and loss comparison, a good graph showing you an analysis of where the money's going and where it's being spent. You get the projected cash balances. So if I had a payable that I had to pay in the next 2 days, it would show up here, and I would know what the different payables and receivables that are coming for that client. And you can also see customer balances. This is one good way when you're doing bookkeeping, with full bookkeeping for a client. You can see who owes, at a glance, who owes the largest amounts outstanding. When you're in this screen, like on the other screen, you can click and then you can sort, And now I see that this particular vendor or customer owes $104,000. Or maybe you want to know who really has the longest outstanding bills. These particular people, the Kaweah River Outfitters, 2012, although I've seen plenty of outstanding balances old like that. Once in a while they do get collected. But 2012, you can think maybe we should start thinking about writing off that. And there's also a lot of other quick little links. But let me move ahead. Another powerful tool we have is ratios. So you can go into Trial Balance, Financial Ratios. And here we have about 20 different ratios that you can set up for your clients. And it'll come in, the system automatically calculates what it was last year and what it is today on a year-to-date basis. You can also set up industry standards to compare it against it, because current ratio for one type of industry obviously isn't necessarily the same current ratio that's expected for other types of industries. This gives you a lot of good information, and it really helps with advice you can give to your clients. One final thing I want to show on this as far as advice, the financial analysis report. It's a new report that we entered. In this report, you can see basically a lot of things that were on the snapshot. You can see who's outstanding. You see an aging. And it's just a powerful tool to send to your client at the end of each period. So those are basically those tools. So, but what about the clients who you want to do everything for? We have a lot of tools that can help you with that. I better hurry up here. The first thing is for scanning of invoices. Customers, if your clients receive all of their invoices in a PDF format, they can just send them to you, and they can go directly into our cloud cabinet, which is a different product. And when you come in here, once they're in the cloud cabinet, you'll see them. You just click on the thing. You can see the complete invoice. You can say process. I know, yeah. And then you pick up the person. You can preview the invoice right from there and make your entries looking at that screen. After you've entered all of the information, the next step is you can go in to pay bills. So from the pay bill screen, you can view all the bills that are due for somebody. Now, what you can do is have the client come to this screen, and they can then approve the bills that need to be paid. So that way, you're actually doing the entry, but they're making the decisions for you. It makes it very easy to offer that kind of bill payment service for your clients. You can also, when you're in here, you can have recurring invoices, especially good like with rental type properties and things like that. You can have invoice templates, which are good. And you also have the ability to, when you're going to either close a period or close a year, you can set up report sets that will have certain things in them. And now what happens automatically, when I close the period, all of these reports will automatically be backed up into the cloud cabinet. So they're always there, always ready for you to get. You can also set up, under company preferences, the ability to email these reports to clients, including that nice new report that I showed you, the financial analysis. So when you close a period now, the income statement can go directly to the client. There's no more having to get the income statement to them, no more them calling up saying, I lost it. It's always there, ready. The one final thing that I didn't show, maybe it's leaving the best for last. These are for clients that want to do some of their work. This is a screen that can really save you a lot on your errors that you have to correct for them. You can come in here and determine exactly what rights you want to give a client. As Dr. B was saying, maybe the plumber, he just wants to enter bills. So you can come in and just set up accounts payable and just have it so they can enter bills and not even pay bills. You may have another client who does everything. For that client, you can come down to say all above permissions. You have the ability on this screen to pretty much go from almost no access to complete access for your clients. And as you're setting it up, you can very easily come in and look at client view, and you'll see exactly what your client sees. So now the client can't get into the screens to cause other errors. And I think that's pretty much what I'm going to be showing for today. So I'm going to give the control back to Dr. Bhansali. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I liked it.
Okay. I'm sorry we are running a little bit behind time, but I'll try to wrap it up quickly. Now, as I told you, besides tax program, besides accounting system, we also have a complete suite of solutions for you. We create website solutions where you can create website in a matter of minutes and customize it in an hour or so. Cloud Cabinet is the document management and client portal where you can share all the documents with your clients. There's a practice relief program for managing your practice after the fact payroll, and we even promote you on the internet. Another thing is the professional payroll system. It is one of the most widely used payroll system for accountants. And this whole thing is fully integrated with each other. So there's a complete integration between different units. Because of lack of time, I won't be able to go into details of that integration for you. So now we will just give the recap of what DIY model is. So DIY model was the necessity of the desktop. And unfortunately, most cloud systems also use DIY models. So whether it's QuickBooks, QuickBooks Online, Xero, Sage, Wave, everybody's using the DIY model. It is a great option for small businesses who are not using accountants, doing everything on their own, great, and it's meant for them. But the question is, what is in it for accountants like you? And there is not much, because you don't have any proactive role. Clients make mistakes, you can't do anything about it. It wasn't created for professionals. It wasn't created for your professional work. So if you want to do the kind of work that we showed you just now that you can do in accounting power, you have to have another system to do it, and becomes pretty complicated. And most important thing is that with systems like this, clients think, I have done a lot of work, why is my accountant charging so much? And so it weakens your client relationship. The companies who are selling those solutions start to sell other solutions to your client also. On the other hand, when you see the DDIY model, it is made possible by the cloud. So that's one thing. Created exclusively for professionals, sold exclusively to you, and you decide how to use it for your each client. And as I told you, you can work collaboratively with your client at all different extent. And most important thing is, as we showed you, you can customize your accounting service for each individual client. And you can offer complete accounting services. We didn't get a time to show that. Clients can scan everything, take a photo of very soon coming out, where they can just take a snapshot through a mobile phone, mobile device, and that goes right into your accounting system, and your staff can pay the invoices right sitting in your office. And then you can offer all the advisory services, as David Manner showed you, through Snapshot and all those other tools. And that's where we believe it brings accounting, DIY took control of accounting away from accountants. Now it brings a control of accounting back to accountants. This was just an overview of what we do. We will have live demonstration or recorded demonstration of each individual functionality of the program in a little bit more detail. We provide you full implementation help. We import data from QuickBooks, QuickBooks Online, all other programs, and it's pretty straightforward and seamless integration. So somebody will help you in our staff migrating those data into Accounting Power. And we have a very extensive seminar on very specific topics of Accounting Power and other solutions. Now, what we want is, I'm hoping that after seeing this presentation, you would want to really try it and get free subscription. So we have two different options. Either you can get 6 months free subscription, or you can get 1 month free subscription. Now, after seeing all this, you said, yeah, maybe this is a program I might be useful for me. You're not sure. You should, maybe 1 month subscription is right for you. But after seeing this, you can already start to virtualize, start to see how you can use in your practice. You see, hey, I have 50 different clients, and even if I save 3 hours per client on write-up, that's a saving of 1 month worth of work. You can start to see how you can control a client's entry and minimize data entry and eliminate all the hassles that you and your staff faces. You start to see, hey, wait a minute, I have 4 or 5 clients, or at least in the beginning, 7, 8 clients that will be very happy if I took all their accounting work, and I will be making another, my firm will be making another $5,000-$10,000 from that kind of a service right pretty soon. And you start to see the picture of how it is going to minimize work during the tax season, how you might be able to get home, not only make more money, but maybe spend a little more time with your family. If you start to see that in your picture, that in your mind, and you really see the benefit of Accounting Power, then you may want to opt for the 6 months free subscription. So Jonathan, can you please give, in the next screen, you can make your choice. And Jonathan, can you please bring it up?
Sure, Dr. B. Okay, the poll has been launched.
Okay, so please make the choice whether you want 6 month subscription, 1 month subscription, or you don't want any subscription in Accounting Power. So the poll is going to be open for a short while. Yeah, Jonathan, I can't see the poll, so you know if.
Yeah, I'm just going to give it just a few more seconds and then I'll close the poll.
Okay.
Okay, the poll has been closed, Dr. B.
Okay. I'm sorry we got a little bit over time. I really appreciate your taking the time. One of the consultants will call you to discuss your practice and see how you can benefit from the DDIY model and hopefully from our services. Again, thank you very much. And please, in the meantime, if you need to call us, you can call our visit AccountantsWorld.com or call our line, which is 888-999-1368. Thank you very much. We are sorry we don't have any time for
There are a few questions there, and I'm answering them if
okay.
anyone's waiting for the answer.